Good evening, Jan.
Good morning, Michael. I made it in time.
Hey, excellent. With 5 minutes
Good.
to spare. Yes.
Mm. Yeah,
Excellent. Good
how
to
was
see
your
you.
week?
Oh, very busy, very busy. Yeah, been putting a lot of time into the this code launch app. So,
Mm.
hoping to get it to a point where I can show it off on stream. But yeah, it's pretty exciting. Using Janaga in a way that yeah, I know the deadline. I know the date on which we're going to deploy this. Have it running on a bunch of people's phones. At one event, just all at once, everyone's going to be hitting the hitting the Janaga application. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's going to be a great
it ha
test.
it has to work. It
Mm-hmm.
has to work,
Absolutely has to.
but it will. I'm
Yep.
confident.
But of
If you
course,
do it, it will work.
yeah, I'll be running all sorts of tests up till that point. It won't be like this
Mm.
stream where it's like, hey, let me just install this and give it a try.
Mm.
Yeah. Although even just doing that, I mean, like we've got like a 50% hit rate. So yeah,
Mm.
not bad.
Good. I sent you a little mail yesterday. Yeah, for me
Yes.
yesterday, for you, yeah, yesterday
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. Although I only just saw it this morning. So
Okay. So it was a little bit late here, but I wanted to make it work, and it is working,
excellent. Excellent.
or at least a little bit working.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. You mentioned last week that you wanted me to merge my branch, and I did not do that. But hey, maybe we can.
no, but I merged it into my
Oh,
branch,
you did. Okay.
so I didn't merge it into the main branch. But so
Okay.
wait, let me see. If I yeah, if I just share a window, then if I start the application, it should work.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um, okay. So actually, if you look at the commits,
Okay. There it is. Yep.
so yeah, last time, where was it? I created this task overview window. That's what I did last time.
Mm-hmm.
Now I merged in the data grid. Then I refactored the directory structure, so the view models in
Mm-hmm.
the view model project. And like we discussed last time, so instead of what was it, areas,
Mm-hmm.
I call it forms. Then
Makes
you
sense.
have inside the task overview and the new task,
Ah. Okay.
with
Yes.
each time the form inside. To follow exact the same in the view models,
Hmm.
of course, I
Yeah.
didn't put a view model because it's only view models. So I
Mm-hmm.
have the overview with the two view models that I use, and then the four that used in the add task. Ah,
Very nice.
add task, a new task. No,
Oh,
that's not nice.
okay.
Um, well, we call it new task dialog, new task. So yeah, let's change it in new task. Let's be consistent.
Yes.
So done. Um, I have one problem there,
Mm-hmm.
and that is because we will still be moving this. Yeah, for the moment, task overview is the upper window.
Mm-hmm.
There is one window on top with the bottom up, but that has no
Yeah.
view model. That's the main window. But if we still would have a window on top, then the structure is moving again. So the namespacing, I thought that, like for example here, the moment that we move the view model in a folder, that there was a way to automatically adapt the namespace.
Yeah, you should be able to
And
hit Control dot and then it'll bring
well,
up the refactor menu.
but if I move, he asks me, and I say yes, and it doesn't change.
Oh.
And there is even here in Tools Options, Project and Solution General. Here, it is enabled. So,
Yeah.
but okay, I said never mind. I will ask Michael. Let's continue with the coding because otherwise, I will miss more than 5 minutes. But if
Yeah.
we stand there,
Yeah, so it's either Control dot or with that lightning or
yeah,
light bulb.
yeah. And now he opens this one. No, it stays here. It converts to the block scoped namespace, but it doesn't
Wow.
change.
Yeah, it
No,
doesn't.
no, it's just block scoped then,
Yeah,
but it
which
doesn't.
is not what we want to do.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Huh. Yeah,
Because if every time we have to modify everything manually,
yeah, that is a pain. Yeah, it usually says change the namespace to match folder structure.
yeah.
In that very same menu.
Ask Copilot.
Well, that's the
No,
slowest and most
normal,
expensive way
yeah,
to change namespaces.
yeah. Normally it should be here, but
The
no,
world's
it's not.
buggiest refactoring tool.
No, nothing there. Look, I will
Yeah,
see what we can do.
yeah.
I thought perhaps Michael has immediately the answer, but
Well, we can give that a
for
try on my VS.
for every rule there are exceptions.
Yes.
This time it doesn't work.
Except for this one. This rule has no exceptions.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Murphy can always be there. But so I reorganized it this way. That was the way you had in mind for the forms and for the view models here.
Yeah. That that makes a lot of sense. And in fact, I believe that the task overview is ultimately going to be the main window, because that's what you want the dispatcher to see when they first start up. The reason that we've got a main window with a button is just the way that we're setting up test data, and that we don't yet have a dependency injection framework.
Yeah, but in the current application, the overview is one tab in the main window. So there are multiple tabs. One of the tabs is the map. Another one is export possibilities, report generating. So that were four different tabs.
I forget about that. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. We would want those to be subfolders because each one is complex in and of itself. So yeah.
It's also a matter of looking for a way of working, which we can also use in other applications. All right. So then if I start the application, come on, you can do it, Visual Studio. It opens
Sometimes
on
it
the
needs
other
a pep
screen.
talk.
You can see it, the window?
Yes. Oh wait, I'm still seeing Visual Studio. Sorry.
Okay, wait. Then stop share and share the other one. So if I bring it in the same screen, it might work, but now you should see it.
Now I see the main window, yes.
So that's the main window. Here we have that button. And do you see now the task overview window?
Nope, still seeing main window. I think what we found is, you can drag it over main window and it'll show up. Yeah.
Yeah, I drag it over. Now you can see it?
Yes.
Okay. So here you have this data grid with client name, yard name. Just the titles, it's not data. When I add a task, this one,
and drag.
You do see it now?
No. Now
because it doesn't. Okay. So if it doesn't fit in, but if I
Mm.
align it with the top, you can see it. If I just select customers here, and
Mm-hmm.
that's and then, for example, here for the yard, I can leave it or I can type other things. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I'm gonna shift everything a little bit. Right. Oh no, I cannot shift it. How way? Oh, I see the
Yeah.
save button at the bottom. So I click the save button and look, there it is.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I add a second one, shift it in again. But now instead of selecting a name, I just type something. And the yard name, I can type something. And now I do save and it doesn't appear.
Oh, interesting.
I say a third one. I had client B already. Let's select client A now. Yard A, some typing. I do save. And now it does save.
Okay.
So I didn't look into that. I said, this is working. At least I don't did everything wrong. I did something good. So when we add tasks, it's updating automatically. And then I say
Excellent.
Jinaga is fantastic. Once you get a little bit of structure,
Yeah, then things just.
all the communication
Mm-hmm.
between the screens is all automatically. It updates automatically. So it's but you
Yeah.
really have to try it yourself because otherwise,
Except for the thing that's missing. So let's take a look at the code and see if we can figure that out.
there will be a good reason for it. Jan doing stupid things. Um, so
Yeah, I
we
think
had
it's probably the learning curve on Janaga. This is a very different way of thinking uh, about how
it
to
is.
build your code and your specifications and your models. So
Oh yeah, he stopped sharing, of course. Now you see
there
it
we go.
again.
Yes.
So if we go to the task overview window here, yeah. Let me put that a little bit bigger here. So we have a grid,
Mm-hmm.
and in there we had a data grid. So that data grid I'm building directly to tasks, which is that observable collection. There I
Mm-hmm.
bind um, client name and to yard name. So if I go to my here my task overview view model, I have this observable collection. And if I go to my task view model, so here I have a client name, I have a yard name. And then in my task overview view model,
Mm-hmm.
so when I load, I go and load my tasks. So I have my query here, and then I do a watch where I add the task to the tasks collection.
Yes.
Um, but so
Okay.
where does that?
All right.
Yeah,
So I'm thinking that it might be something to do with the specification. So we're starting with the supplier. We're grabbing all of the clients.
yeah,
Uh,
all of the
yeah, so where the client is not deleted. So um, yeah, pretty sure that's we're not creating a delete fact. Um, then we're grabbing the yards for that client where the yard is not deleted. And now the thing that you did differently with the one that didn't show up was um, you typed in a name rather than picking from the drop down list, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and that was the name of a client. So, um, what do we uh, what do we
Wait,
do in that case?
is it saved?
Yeah, it might
Wait,
not
wait,
even be.
where?
Yeah, it might not even be the
Um,
specification. It might be earlier.
no, if we go to the new task dialog here, so that's the new task view model.
Mm-hmm.
So here, um, if we click save,
Right.
here it saves the client name and the yard name.
Well, the first line there, if selected yard is null, it just returns immediately. I'm guessing that since you typed something in, there was no selected yard. Um, wait a minute, no, selected yard. Well, that might be the case. I don't know, but you type something in at the client name level.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
normally it should pass here.
yeah. Um, yeah, let's go ahead and hit a set a breakpoint on the first line of this function, and yeah, even further up, yeah, right there, and
Let's see what it
let's
does.
try that again.
Oh,
Because
okay, so
I'm guessing that the selected yard is just null, and it's
right,
dropping
let's
out.
where is it? The main window. Let's move that one up a little bit. Move it in again. Oh, where did I minimized it. No, I want to make it like this. Okay,
There it is.
add, then move it again. We really have to
Yeah,
talk to Zoom to the people there. Yeah, because in that case,
yeah. There's no client yet. It's just some
there's
text,
no, yeah.
and so
So
therefore,
if now I would do, yeah, here, and then we say,
yeah, we're not seeing Visual Studio anymore. We're just seeing the
ah,
that.
okay. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, wait. There. Where was my sharing? Oh, this one jumps away now. Visual Studio share.
There it is. Okay.
Okay. If we,
Well, don't
where's
continue. Let's single
no,
step.
where's my stepping here again? Which was it? Okay. Step into
Yeah.
it.
Okay. There
There
we
he
go.
is. He goes
Yeah.
into
It's just
return.
gonna
Yeah.
return. So yeah,
Um.
then
Wait.
it does nothing.
F5. If we do, yeah. Now you don't see that one again. Wait. Share. Go back to this one. Let's try something else. If we select first
Mm-hmm.
a client here, now he has selected the yard.
Yes.
And now, I override this one, so the yard disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So also in this case, he will do probably the same thing here. Yeah,
Okay.
he
We didn't see
returns.
that, but yeah, I trust you.
Yeah. Okay, so
Okay.
let's go back to this one. So share Visual Studio. So it is not saved. That was the
Yep, that's the
where
whole
was
problem.
that in the new task? No, yeah, here.
Okay.
Um,
All
because
right.
then we get trouble here.
Yeah. So I think what we need to
Um,
do is have this whole if else. So if the selected yard is not null, this is exactly what we do. But if the selected yard is null, we do something completely different. And um,
mhm.
so the so okay, the next thing that we're doing is we're creating the task, and the reason we need the yard is because we're creating the task under the yard. Um, but we want to get to that yard in a different way if you are typing in a brand new client name. And then we set the properties of the task and we add the tools. So yeah, it's really just that very first part there where we're
Mm.
just returning null. Instead, what we want to do is we want to get to a yard, um, by one path or
Yeah.
by another path.
Right. Let me open up the model here. We had the right to left. Yes. My favorite one here. Wait, let me put it bigger and then I can show it. Share, where was that? Here.
There it is. Yes.
Okay, so up to now, what we were doing, we had supplier here.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a client. Client has a yard. And there is the task.
Yes.
Is it visible
Yes,
in
it
this
is.
way?
Yes.
And
You can
then
read it perfectly.
when we save a task, we will also save the client name
Mm-hmm.
on the task, and we will save the yard name. Also the other things, but for the moment they are not saved. So
Yeah.
yard name and client name. Now in
Perfect.
this case, we have not selected a yard.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that either that yard does not exist, so we have to make a new one. We have
Right.
to create a new one. And even if it exists already, that's not a problem. We
Yeah.
save that fact. If it exists already, it will just use the same fact in that case.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. So we need to have that condition. What's the expected behavior if you type in a client name? Is the expected behavior that you're getting a brand new client or that you're trying to rename an existing client?
um, the best behavior would be if he finds out that it's an existing client, that he uses that client.
Okay.
Um,
So if the name
be,
matches,
be careful.
yeah.
Be careful. um, let's go back to the application. If I run the application here, I'm gonna share it because you could accidentally. Where is it now? Screen, main window, yeah.
Yeah, still seeing the model. There it is. There's the main window.
Yeah. And this one, and now add
Mm-hmm.
task. Because if you open this one, a client,
Mm-hmm.
Client has a client name, but also a client address and all this is attributes.
Right.
The problem is if I just type here a client name, I might have a client called test,
Mm-hmm.
and I use test again. It might be just a temporary name, and the software will think it's the same one.
Right. Yes.
So if there is a duplicate, I think the software should say, oh, I have, or you should even propose, I have similar clients already in the database. Is it one of these or is it a new one?
Yeah. What about changing the user interface so that it is not ambiguous? So you separate selection from naming. So if you pick something in the list and then you enter a name, you know you're renaming it. But if you don't pick something from the list and you enter a name, you know that you are trying to create a new one.
Because also here, if I type, in this way, it's an automatic search.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So as long as you type, he will, because here it doesn't open the list. I think in the old version, if I type, he will open that list and he will show all the existing customers that fulfill the condition.
Right. Okay.
But that, and so if you type something automatically, you see, oh, that doesn't exist.
Okay.
It's always the same difficult problem. If people can add things,
Yeah.
you really have to say, oh, that customer exists already, but you might typing it wrongly. So we have to compare, like with the Soundex algorithm, to say we have something similar.
Right.
Is it that, or is it not that, or is it something new?
Okay. So for right now, we can rely on this behavior because, as you've just demonstrated here, if you start typing one that's in the list, it will select it. And so now there is a selected client and a selected yard. So,
Because
so yeah,
in
if we,
fact, that's not a Jinaga. It's not a Jinaga problem. It's a user interface
yeah,
problem.
yeah. But yeah, in the example that you just went through, if you type something in and it's a brand new name, it's not in the list, then you won't have a selected client and you won't have a selected yard. So we can make the application create a brand new client and yard in that case.
Yeah. Wait, let me share again the other one then. I'll open that a little bit further. So if it's null, then here, instead of return, we could change it.
Yes, yeah. There we want to, yeah. First of all, create a brand new or a brand new client because
Yeah.
if there's no selected yard, then there's no selected client either.
Wait. So here. Okay. So await Jinaga client dot fact. No, not a task. But so there we need a new client.
Yes.
So in our model, what was that? Dispatcher here. Was just a client then. Right, so new client. What does it need? It needs our supplier. That one I have. And so here, it's just a new GUID.
That's GUID dot new GUID. It's a static method.
Yeah, GUID dot new GUID.
Yep. And that's a method, so you need to put the parentheses after it.
Like that.
Yep.
That's okay.
So
and then
yeah, one extra close parentheses, and then we should be able to.
Am I missing one?
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. And then I need another one. I have my client. So then I go for a yard. So wait. New client name at that moment also.
Yeah, we should do the client name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we have the client name as an attribute, a property of the task, but
Yes.
also at the client.
Yes.
So here we had,
So that should be the client that we just created.
yeah. But, so this is, wait,
Yeah.
client equal. Was it
Yep.
client name?
Perfect.
Yeah. Then what is it? Client address for the moment, we don't have it, so we forget about it. We are going to change that in. So client, then we go to yard.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, was it yard? It was yard. And what do we need here? A client and an yard GUID. So all this goes out. So that's up. And then GUID dot new GUID. Complaints again.
Yep.
So then we have the yard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm following on the model here. We have a yard name.
Mm-hmm.
So await client client fact new yard name. That looks good. No, yard name will be the yard.
Mm-hmm.
So yard equal yard name. Then we must create a task. Correct.
Yeah, but the code to create the task is already there. So it's at this point that we can rejoin the rest of the code.
Yeah, that is this one.
Yeah. The
But
thing is,
here it is.
yep.
Selected yard.
Yep. So I think what we want to do is define a yard variable, initialize
Yeah.
it to selected yard, but then modify it inside of our if.
Okay. That's here. That was yard. Selected yard equal to.
Yeah, actually, that completion right there is good because selected yard is actually the view model, and if there's nothing selected, then that's going to be null. Okay, so we want to put a question mark after the yard, so that we define that to be nullable. Not there, but after the type. So yeah, yard question mark selected yard.
Yeah, the type that can be
Yeah.
nullable.
Yeah. So now we can say
selected
if
yard.
that.
So this one becomes my selected yard.
Yeah. There we replace selected yard.yard with the local variable. Yep. Yeah.
And
And
here
then in there
we selected yard.
yes.
Yard equal to yard.
Yes.
Why is it complaining?
Yeah, it still thinks it might be null there, but that's kind of the structure of the code. If we here's a nice little trick. We're basically hacking the proof engine. If instead of the property selected yard in that condition, so you've got if capital S selected yard in the condition, if that's lowercase s selected yard in the condition, then the proof engine can see that if it's null, we ended up in here and we ended up setting it to something not null.
Yeah.
So you have to think like a theorem prover. This is
Indeed.
math running inside a Visual Studio. It's fantastic.
Mm. Okay, and then and here behind we add client name to the task. That's a task client name. So
Yeah.
now it should work.
Yeah, now it should work.
Let's see what it says. I now have to change again. This one, share.
Okay. Add task.
So,
And,
test,
yeah.
test 2. I save it. Yeah, of course, the breakpoint is still there.
Mm-hmm.
Click. Yeah, F5.
And
And
it
now
shows
it's
up.
there. Yeah.
Yep.
And let's see whether it still works the old way.
Yes.
Oh,
And it's the little
and
list.
see,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the advantage of Jinaga. It's there.
It's just there.
Yeah. Save. Yeah. And now if we open this one, we select that one,
Mm-hmm.
and we do save. And indeed, he
We got a new
says,
task for it. Yeah.
why a new one?
Because that's a list of tasks.
Yeah, but
And
these
so,
facts, I know. Yeah, we created a new. Wait.
yeah, let's bring up Visual Studio and look at the specification again.
Yeah, there is probably a GUID inside.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a new task, and indeed they have the same. Yeah, okay, it's correct. It's correct. The only thing we have to make sure that there is something. For the moment, we only mention client name and yard name.
Mm-hmm.
But there are
Yeah.
more elements which are coming. So
Yeah. And
just
then you'll be able to
make
see
sure
that
that.
they're different.
Yeah. All right. It's
Excellent.
working.
That is
Good.
fantastic.
Good. We are gonna save and commit that afterwards.
Excellent.
But so that was the progress, a little bit progress, but it was interesting for me
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, that is great progress.
That was real Jinaga stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and so now we can kind of see the effects of different user interface decisions and different modeling decisions, and so you can modify those decisions. Kind of, you know, what we were just working on was the kind of the boundary between the UI and the model. You know, when the UI looks like this, what's the interpretation, and then we translate that into a model that represents that same interpretation. So, so yeah, now you get to make all those choices and get it to work exactly the way you want. So things like, you know, automatically opening the list, doing that sound deck search if you want to go down that path. Right there, that's the place to do the sound deck search, which may lead to another prompt that says, "Is this the right one?" And so you've got a modal or another prompt dialog. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, on the whole storage and database, Jinaga is fantastic because it speeds up enormously.
Mm-hmm.
But there is still this user interface. The underlying links between all the screens are solved via Jinaga.
Yeah.
But I find in programming to get a user interface really working the way it should be, to be user friendly, to be robust,
Mm-hmm.
that always takes a lot of time.
It does. It does. Yeah, I'm hopeful that we'll be able to find a specification language for user interfaces. So even that will be, um, less of this, Turing complete coding and more, this is the way that it should be. That's kind of what
Okay.
Assisticant was driving toward. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Prior to Assisticant and now Janaga with the automatic updates. It was always, when this changes, make sure that you call this function or send this message or raise this event, and then something else, we need to subscribe to that message, that event, and poke a value into a UI component. And it was all of that going on. But then Assisticant was like, okay, let's make a specification of
Mm-hmm.
what should be the value of this thing, and then figure out how to do that. Now, I would say that Assisticant didn't get all the way to where I wanted to be. Um, and yeah, Janaga with the user interface here is not getting all the way to where I want to be either. I would like to just be able to describe how the user interface behaves, not just what shows up on it, but also what the interactions should be, but describe it in a non-Turing complete way.
Okay.
And then let it derive the behavior. So that's that's a problem for another day. But yeah, I think Turing completeness is really the thing that we keep fighting against. And it's like, okay, this is starting to get hard. Well, that's because we're starting to code in a Turing complete language. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
Turing complete is by definition hard to reason about. So let's go with something that's not Turing complete, easier to reason about, and get further along.
Yeah. Or perhaps by having all these patterns documented, because it's a problem. Every software has the same issues, and every developer solves it in his own way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And most of the solutions are not optimal.
Yeah. That is true. That is true. And yeah, if we're going to democratize application development and let people that don't have the the experience with building applications, but instead have enough experience to to build Excel spreadsheets, give them the capability to build an application like this, and we're going to need to. I think we're going to need to do even more than patterns, because they would still have to learn the pattern and learn to apply the pattern. Right now, everyone's applying LLMs to that problem. It's like, okay, take somebody who knows Excel, and then have them vibe code and see if the LLM can produce the patterns that produce the behavior. And so that works up to a point, but then when it goes off the rails, as they always do, a person that doesn't have the experience of knowing what the rails are can't steer it back onto the tracks.
But I'm surprised that you have pattern books for code.
Yeah.
But I still haven't found a pattern book for user interfaces which really covers all these almost simple things from a user point of view. But like if you enter a new customer, that's the best way to do it. It's user friendly, and it makes sure that you don't have duplicates. It makes sure that you don't type wrongly, and thus you create a duplicate. It should just be a book with the best practices.
Yeah. Yeah. I did a long while back. I created a Pluralsight course called XAML patterns, and that was a set of patterns for organizing your XAML code. So it was really all about the declarative part of the language, and a little bit of the view models and dependency properties and that kind of thing. But yeah, it wasn't a complete pattern language like you're talking about. Yeah, it wasn't. Here's the user interface problem. Here's the task that the user is trying to complete, and now here's a pattern to complete that task. and then that pattern is translated into code.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's really from a user interface point of view,
Uh-huh.
and then the translation in code is different for every language.
Yeah. Yeah, and even within languages for every framework, the way that you express a user interface in
Mm.
React is different from Vue, is different from Angular,
Yeah,
it's different
yeah.
from Svelte.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes, because even component developers, um, they don't seem to standardize or go as far as coming up with these best practice
Mm-hmm.
components.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Mm.
so yeah, a component that you get from a component vendor is an object with a set of properties.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, go ahead and bind these properties, and so they usually think through a few different use cases. So yeah, if you set this property to true, then you're going to get this use case. If you set it to false, you're going to get that use
Mm.
case. In fact, we saw that with the data grid when we first started putting that together.
Mm.
It's like it was intended to be used in like one of three different ways, depending on how you set the properties. So we had to
Mm.
figure out we want to use it in this way. So set these properties, and then and then you're still left with now that I've got it configured for the right use case that I want. Um, how do I bind those properties to my view models, and then what's the code pattern in the view model in order to continue that? And yeah, the component vendor stops with the object with
Mm.
properties. Um, yeah, yeah. So I think yeah, there has to be a pattern language at the user interface level. There has to be a pattern language at the code level, and those two need to be connected. Um, when I talk about specifications for the user interface, then it wouldn't be patterns at the code level. It would instead be patterns at the user interface level, and then you directly express those decisions. So, so yeah, I've got you know, the user can see a grid of data, um, and it's uh, it's combined with a text area, and that text area behaves in such a way that when they type, it searches um, for client name.
Mm.
And so you write that in a declarative language, and then you don't need to write a view model, and you don't need to um, have Turing complete functions that if this do that, otherwise do this other thing. Instead, it's all kind of derived from that specification.
Because actually, Michael, wait, let me share that again. Everything, the searching is already inside here. Okay, you see it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So here, if we start
Mm-hmm.
typing, we would see the list of the items that fulfill the condition up to then.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of showing exact match, we could, for example, show a soundex match.
Yeah. And
So
now,
yeah.
yeah, I think that the exact match behavior that we're seeing is built into the component, and
Mm.
if we wanted to change that to soundex, um, if it's even possible, we would have to do quite a lot of rewriting. It wouldn't be
Mm.
just a simple, exact match versus soundex match versus, a, um, you know, a vector database match or whatever.
Mm.
It wouldn't just be a simple declaration of what you want, but instead it's reaching in and completely changing the way that the component works.
Yeah. But I think perhaps in that way we can get something that works fluent for the customers,
Mm-hmm.
and where they see, oh, we are typing, and perhaps the exact matches green,
Oh, I
and
see. Yeah.
not exact matches, for example, in red,
Mm-hmm.
which indicates directly to the customer, you are typing something wrong.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just thinking, we I will see where where I get it. Um,
Yeah, I am
but
pretty sure you won't be able to get that behavior out of this built-in data grid. Um, and honestly, I can't remember how we combined the data grid with the combo box, if that was already built or if we had to do something special to make that
yeah.
happen. Um,
Mm,
but um, but yeah, if the component vendor hasn't thought of that, then um, in this case, the component vendor is Microsoft. But then you might have to just build that complete component yourself,
mm,
or go down one level, and now you're building a data grid out of lower level components. So now you've got
yeah.
text areas. What do they call them?
Look,
Text
we will
blocks.
see
Yeah.
how. But that's not. In fact, it's not a Jinaga problem.
No.
Um, it's just a component problem. All
Yeah.
right.
But yeah, that might actually be a good a good practice, a good way to practice using an LLM. Like, okay, let's, you as the developer, now basically you're playing product owner, and your job is to keep it on the rails. And then you say, okay, I want you to build a grid that, and then describe exactly the behavior you did, and yeah, iterate on that. It'd be fun.
Yeah. See
It
where
might
that
not
gets
work,
us.
but
Mm.
yeah.
It might work. It might work.
Mm-hmm.
Good. That's how far I got it.
Excellent. Well,
Um,
that is good progress.
I will continue with that
Fantastic.
step by step.
All right, and yeah, so you've already got my code merged in, so I don't need to do any merging myself because that would just cause a merge conflict if it did. So, so yeah, then when you're ready to merge to main, then it'll all go in.
Mm.
Yeah, so I think that's good progress there. I'm going to continue down the code launch path, and maybe next week there'll be something worth demonstrating. But yeah, right now I'm basically seeing the same thing that you're seeing with Janaga just makes the the views talk to each other. Um, I'm seeing that the next level down, where now it's just making the applications talk to each other because they have a common replicator. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm starting to we saw a little bit of that in the university mesh. Um, so yeah, this one's importing, and then that one's
Mm.
indexing. So it's like, okay, we see data flowing this way, but yeah, with Code Launch, I've got the attendee application, I've got the admin application, I've got some backend services, and they're all subscribing to just the parts they're interested in, and I'm just seeing that come together. It's
Mm.
really fun. I want everyone to have that experience.
Yeah, it's very powerful.
Indeed.
Mm.
All right. So then next week.
Next week I will be here.
Excellent. All right. Well, then I will see you then.
Okay, Michael.
Thanks, Jan.
Thanks a lot, and see you next week then.
All right. See you then.
Okay,
Bye.
bye bye.